Hello, everyone. Balloons
Hello.
everywhere. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
It's your favorite Pams. Okay,
Photos.
just gonna check YouTube if we're live. We are.
Share IG.
Just gonna post this on Instagram.
Yeah. We are live.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Elena.
Hi,
Oh my,
Elena.
3 more days. How to do
Almost your birthday.
3 days from today. So that's July 29.
We did the balloons already. Oh, very good. Okay, shared. How's everyone?
Is it still it is still early. It's only 4 in the morning. How are you awake, Elena?
Oh my gosh, that's so early. Do you have do you usually get up this early or have you stayed awake since last night?
Good question. Hi, Alex. Welcome
Morning,
to
Alex.
Prince. Hi, Eliza. Do correct us if we're wrong. I finished Akotar some days ago and flawless since the last
Yeah, I think it's
print.
Eliza. Yeah.
Flawless?
Flawless. Is
Wait,
this Flawless by Elsie Silver? Chestnut Springs, Book
oh, it is.
1.
Oh, this
Small
is
Town Cowboy Romance.
Elsie Silver. I've been seeing around Book Talk
Yeah, she's
Extra.
so popular recently. Yeah. But I haven't read the Chestnut Spring series, which I think is what's popular right now. I don't know if she wrote other books. How did you find Avatar? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, Chestnut Spring series. So good. So, oh, I was about to ask, how are you going to rate it? And you said 5 stars. Even better than Akatar? Is that what you're saying?
Everyone's saying that the second book of Avatar, I think the second book of Avatar is everyone's favorite. The first is so, and then the second is everyone's 5 stars. So maybe if you're gonna read the second one, that's gonna be 5 stars.
So, since you're done with Akatar and Flawless, what are you going to be reading or doing tonight? Sorry, I'm still sharing. Okay. Fairy. How do you pronounce this? Fairy? Fair?
Farah.
Fair? Farah. What's
Yeah.
that?
I mean, at least that's how I hear it from The booktubes.
No hate, but that took a star down for
Mm.
me. I did enjoy some moments with her. I see. I see. Yes. And what are you gonna be doing on your birthday, Elena?
Yes, they have plans. They have a book you want to buy.
Some book
What are,
shopping. You deserve some
yes,
book
what is
shopping.
the plan?
I'm still between November 9 and
Mm.
Heartless. Heartless is the fantasy one.
Marisa
Yeah,
Mayer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
November 9 is Coho.
Yeah. So do share what you guys will be reading today, tonight with us for our
Yes.
four sprints. So whether you're gonna do some chores, do some homework, etc. So feel free to use our sprints for that. And while we're waiting for more people to join and for them to share what they'll be reading, we can share what we're gonna be reading tonight. So you can go first.
I am going to be reading The Art Thief, a true story of love, crime, and dangerous obsession by Michael Finkel. So, this is a nonfiction, I guess historical nonfiction about an art thief, like an actual literal, it's a literal art thief. It's not like a metaphor for something. Like this person literally stole so many artworks across, I believe, Europe or yeah, across Europe, and for some reason he kept getting away with it until this one specific heist that he did, where everything just went wrong, and that's when he was like arrested. So I think this book is gonna cover obviously like a brief summary of everything he has stolen, and then that like moment when he got why he got arrested, like everything that went
Mhm.
wrong in that
How
final
far are you?
heist. I haven't started it yet, but
Oh,
it's so cool because it has a bunch of like maps. Like these are where he stole a lot of like small stuff as well. And then I don't know what this is. It says the attic and something, but it looks like a fictional book because like
why are there not?
it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that like he was able to steal so much. I actually don't know the year like
Yeah, because
when
like
this happened.
maybe the museums weren't as secured before
I
for him to
think
be
he
able to.
was. I think his final like highest was in 1997. That's not that's not too
Mhm.
far. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
it's been a while, but it's not. I mean, I would expect this to be like 1940s or something older, just because of the fact that he was able to get away with
yeah,
so much.
yeah.
So I'm
It
very
looks
very
so
curious.
fun.
I don't know how I found out about this book. I think I was just searching for a nonfiction probably for a readathon before, but the hold time was too long, and then now it came in. So I'm excited for it. How about you?
Okay, so um, I don't think I'm ready for long books still, so I haven't touched butter again. So I think that's starting to put me in a slump because it's just so
Oh
long.
no.
It's not a bad book. It's just very slow. There's a lot of details that I don't think I need right now. So because of that, I'm going to be reading Frankenstein by Junji Ito. So it's Junji Ito, so it's gonna be a horror story collection. So yeah, do not know much about it. Do not know much about the stories that are gonna be in here, but I have read from Junji Ito before, so I'm not gonna be surprised anymore with the weirdness and the horrific shit that's gonna be here. And I think I need that right now.
I have never read Junji Ito before.
Ooh, but
I,
you know like Tomie and like
yeah,
Remina.
I kind of know. Yeah, I know. Especially Tommy is very, very popular.
Yeah,
Even like her entire concept, I suppose,
yeah, yeah, that's
very
the thing.
popular. So I do know of it, but I've never read any Junji Ito. I think I want to read Tommy first, just because it's one that I know. But for some reason, I feel like I want to read it from the physical because I want to like.
Um,
Oh, but then the physical is so
Haven't you read the
expensive.
Mandu? because it's on Libby. Almost all
Yeah,
of his work
yeah.
is Libby,
So I'm like,
so
maybe I should just
try
dabble
one.
into his work first, yeah, before I maybe try like a different book, like graphic novel first, and then if I really like the style, maybe I can get Tommy or something. We shall
Yeah, you can
see.
try that because like he has some short story collections that I've also
Mm,
read before. So just to get a grasp of how he writes, how
yeah,
weird it could be, maybe you have some triggers and stuff
apparently. I'll discover my triggers in Shinji Ito.
because it's the weirdest shit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I heard. Like he really doesn't hold back.
but he's like a sunshine, like a ray of
Like in
sunshine as
real
well.
life.
Yeah. Like when you watch this video of like on YouTube, like he has a YouTube video where he's featured and he like rates he rates like drawings or like scenes from some horrific clips or something, and you'd see like how he reacts and he's just so calm the whole time. He's just be like, that's really good, and I'm like, it's one of the most horrific shit I've seen. And he's just so calm, collected.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be a certain kind of person to be able to draw the stuff that he draws and the stories that he thinks of.
Eliza has a question. Bessies,
Mm.
what do you do when you're scared you're not gonna like a book? That's a very good question.
I think for me, I'm generally one of the things that I'm scared of when I read a book and I don't like it is obviously we both do booktube. So we have to share about the books that we read. So that's like part of the whole thing. We share about the books that we read, and I always feel like I have to justify why I don't like a book. Like I have to explain really well why I don't like a book because obviously someone out there will probably enjoy that book, and I feel like it's hard to say very not bad things, but like be very blunt about why I don't like a book. So that's kind of like something that I'm not super scared. I'm not scared of the book itself. Like I will still finish it. I will just criticize it to death if I don't like it. But that's the part that I'm scared of. The after, like when I have to do my May or like my reading wrap ups, and I'm like, oh shit, I hate this book. How do I talk about this?
So I'm assuming this is when we're already reading the book, like we're in the middle of
In the middle
reading
of
it,
it, yeah.
and we're scared that we're not gonna like the book. So I think this is also where setting it aside or DNFing a
Mm,
book comes in. Like, it also depends if I bought a physical copy of the book, so or if I just borrowed it from the library. So these are factors that I also consider. Like, if it's a physical copy, I'm gonna have to set it aside, or I'm just gonna have to power through. And yeah, I think it's just a matter of like the gravity of like what's making you not like
yeah.
the book. Like if it's just a certain character that I'm annoyed with and that's making me not like the book, I'm still gonna power through, I think.
Yeah. I think if I haven't read the book and then I'm like thinking, like, what if I don't like this book? Should I read it or not? Like, if that's the dilemma, I am the type of person who just reads it anyway.
Mm,
So I guess it just depends on who you are. Like, for example, if I generally don't try to look at like in-depth reviews or star ratings or whatever of books before I read them, just because sometimes I would like color my perception. But in general, even if I hear something bad about books, I'm not the type to like not read it because of a bad review. So if I'm genuinely curious about the synopsis, about the themes, I will still read it. So I guess it's just a matter of like figuring that out with yourself if you're okay to if you like the themes, then I suggest just go ahead and reading it. Then if you don't like it in the middle, just DNF it. I mean, I have a hard time DNFing, but maybe you don't. So, yay for you.
yeah, like you can just set it aside, I guess, because like setting it
Soft
aside and
DNF.
DNFing are like two very different things. Like if I set it aside, I know I'm gonna pick this up anyway. So an example of that is some of Achilles. I
Mm,
love it. I am loving it. Like I just wasn't in the mood for that certain writing, but I really like how it's being
yeah.
um I like how the storytelling goes, but I just wasn't ready for it. But I didn't DNF it exactly. I'm just
Yeah.
letting it aside, and I know I'm gonna pick that up again.
Yeah. Soft DNF.
Yeah. Hi, Emily. You'll be reading The Girl on the Train, the iconic
Mm,
thriller. I still haven't read this though, and I
me
haven't watched
too.
it. I haven't.
Me too. But I see it all the time, especially in my when I was in school, in
Mm.
university. I see it all the time.
Yeah, this was around the time that Gun Girl
Gone
was
Girl era. Yeah.
hype. Yeah. Don't look at the reviews before you
Mm,
read. Read it for yourself. I've had 5-star reads that all of my friends hated.
yeah.
Go in with an open mind and decide for yourself. Yes, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I A lot of times I also don't look at the reviews to the point that I don't even reread the blurb of the book that I want to read and just
You
go.
forget what it's about. Yeah.
So that is the scary part, but I guess that's just how I am.
And I don't know if you're like what your purpose is for reading, but I think a lot of us just reads for fun. So just go with that in mind that it's this is like a form of entertainment. So if you're entertained, then whatever the star rating, average star rating is, doesn't matter because you were entertained. You had fun while you were reading it.
Yeah,
Wow,
go in
we're
with
very
and decide for yourself. That's really nice. It's a really nice reminder because, like,
yeah.
as Pam also mentioned, like since we're bookish creators, sometimes we would already have like this. At least for me, like would have these thoughts in our heads. Like when we see certain people like not liking a book, we'd already have like preconceived notions like,
Yeah.
huh, this is what it is, this is what that person said, but I trust this person's reviews, opinions, etc. So oftentimes it gets muddled, or sometimes we also read it just because it's for the content that we're
Yeah.
gonna
The
do. So
dilemma.
thank you. So right. Hi, Bea. Welcome. You
Hello.
made it. We haven't started the sprints yet. We're just
Yeah. Are
talking
you
and
gonna be reading or studying?
people are the
Yeah, I
ones
really
who
don't understand this. Like, I don't get why you would be judging people for what they read. It's just books. It's not that deep.
think there's just a certain balance that needs to be like not really established, but like something that you have to keep in mind. Like, of course, there would be a lot of things that are just over the top problematic, etc. But on the other end, it's just not that deep. So
Yeah.
these are two very different spectrums of the community. I hope I will not fall asleep. Well, you can still use your friends for sleep
Sleeping?
still
Wake
productive.
up after 25 minutes?
Break from studying. My online
Mm,
class resumes tomorrow. So, are you gonna be reading?
or just relaxing, watching stuff.
I try to remind myself
Exactly.
that every book has an ideal reader. We all like to read different things, and that is okay. Yes.
Exactly.
That is true.
100%. And
There's
sometimes even like the same person can like totally opposite things in books. It just depends on when they read it, like what other circumstance are in their life at the time that they read that book. Sometimes when they read it when they're like, I don't know, going through something, they enjoy it, but then when they're not going through that thing and then they reread it, they don't like it, and that's fine. Like it worked for that
girl,
time in your life.
just tag me, just app me.
You with butter right now.
Enjoyed. I have enjoyed problematic books or themes with books with problematic themes or like
In your earlier days.
Yeah, like when I was still a younger reader. And I think that's one thing that people are forgetting, that people's tastes could change
Change,
very
yes.
drastically. Like what I like now, I might not like next month or even next month. So
Yeah. Sleeping is free.
reading. So what are you gonna be reading? I'm supposedly Harvest Moon. No, stop. Don't.
You and Pam are gonna click
Because
so
if
hard on
I
this.
finish the book I'm gonna read, I don't know, I might pick up an audiobook or something and burn it, but I am gonna read. What are you guys gonna be reading? So, Pam, what are you reading?
I am. Wait, let me go and grab the cover. I'm gonna be reading The Art Thief. So it's this book. It's a nonfiction book about a literal art thief, and I think this one covers like the last heist. I mean, a little bit about his all of the his art heist, but specifically the last one where he got caught because he got away for it for a long time. Got away with this for a long time, and then something's happened and he got caught. So that's what I'm gonna be reading. I haven't started it yet, so not sure how it reads. Hopefully, it's good.
And I'm gonna be reading Frankenstein by Junji Ito. So it's a horror short story collection by the iconic graphic novel horror author. So Eliza is going to be reading Heartless by Elsie Silver, so not the Marisa
Yeah,
Meyer
nice.
one. Might change to November 9 at some point or later on the sprints. Okay, we will have 4 sprints tonight, so that's enough time for us to read. And speaking of, should we do sprint number 1?
Yes.
Okay. If everyone's ready, we're gonna do sprint number 1 for 25 minutes. Happy reading, everyone.
Enjoy. See you in a bit.
Hello again, everyone.
Hi,
How
Mia.
our first sprint?
I read until page 26 so far. Very interesting. It started off. He's very like we were talking about how it must have happened like so long ago. Like literally, his first theft happened in 1995, but he was stealing until 2001.
What?
So it's
That's so
very like it's recent. It's recent history, and
long.
he stole over 239 stuff, ranging from like
He-
paintings to small sculptures to
But like, was
so
he selling them? What was he
no.
doing with?
So his motivation is he's essentially like wants to surround himself with beautiful things, and he thinks that like art in a museum is art in prison because you can't fully appreciate it because you can't lounge and look at it, you can't touch it, you can blah 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 blah. So he liberates art. So that's
It's
it.
art, but he's the only one seeing it. Versus
So
like,
his like he mentioned in I think one of his interviews that he prefers to be thought of as an art collector with an unorthodox acquisition style, or if you will, he'd like to be called an art liberator. So he did it with his girlfriend at the time. So
art
they both,
liberator, bitch, you're a thief.
but like you were saying, how he's basically not like the other thieves who will obviously steal the like piece and sell it, or put it up for ransom or things like that, and then and he also takes great care in all of the artworks that he see. Like he has his own humidity controlled um, rooms. Like he makes sure that everything is clean, blah, blah, blah. Whereas other thieves, like he cited a specific example of two thieves who stole a Rembrandt from a museum in Boston, and they like it's in a frame, so they just sliced through the edges to get the painting, and then they rolled up the painting, which effectively obviously cracks the paint, like does a lot of
Yeah.
damage to the painting. And then he's not like them. Those are savages, he says.
Well, it is true. Like, if you're gonna
Like,
steal something, might as well like preserve it as
yeah,
is.
and then I search up like what he looks like, and he's so like I'm taken aback by how recent this is. Like literally, it's this guy. Like it those are all very modern day photos. He like
Yeah,
this happened recently, like 1995 to 2001. I think he was apprehended in 2001. Yeah,
like finally.
yeah. So
So
weird.
wait,
Like
who wrote this? Like, not the thief, obviously.
no, no, no. I think he's kind of like a journalist type of writer where he writes about a bunch of different real life events based
Mhm.
on like obviously there's a little bit of a reenactment. You know how when you're watching like shows where they reenact the crime, like there's the chapters obviously that are from the art thief's like point of view or how he stole the art, blah blah. Those are like his reimagining of the thing. Although apparently the guy like Stefan, he really like recalls every single crime, like how he performed every single heist. So he would explain that in detail to the police, to the lawyers, because he was proud of it. Like he never pled not guilty because he's proud of the fact that he liberated all this art and blah blah blah. So most of even the reenactments in this book are very accurate to what he said in the depositions, what the cops like noted down in their interviews and stuff. So interesting that like I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. How about you?
I got to page um 55 of
Mm.
the short story collection, and just to show how vivid and graphic Junji Ito's art is, So this is Frankenstein's monster. So it's the very first story in the short story
Mm,
collection, I guess because it's the title of the
yeah.
book. But girl,
It's very his illustration style is
graphic.
so detailed.
It's
Like
so
it
graphic.
feels like you can feel the texture of the skin, the texture of the
Yeah.
bandages. Like it feels like
I
you
think
can
I'm reading
touch it.
this early in the night. So it's like that's a jump scare page. If because like when you're like,
It's full
okay,
page.
like how this, yeah. So and then that's a whole ass page
Yeah.
of just the monster. So yeah. It's so since it's Frankenstein, the language is appropriate to the time that the story is
Mm,
taking place. It's like the 17th or 18th
mm,
century. So I'm like, okay, this is unlike his other short story
work.
collection.
Yeah.
It's like I think this is the first one that is based on an actual story
Like known
that
story. Yeah.
existed. Yeah, and the time that it took place is somewhat the language is more formal, must I say.
Mm,
So I'm like, huh, but I wonder how it was written in Japanese. Like, is it also the same
yeah. Like in
same
Edo
formal
period.
way?
Yeah. Interesting. And then how many? Like, is there a lot of short stories in that
Yeah,
collection?
so far there's like let me check the table of contents. I think there's like 9 or 8.
Okay. There's a lot. Yeah.
That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 apparently. So there's a lot to tackle. So I'm just 14% through. And I think this one is kind of long because it's like 14% for one sprint.
Yeah. How
So
do
I think I
you
won't have Stardew Valley tonight during the sprints.
how do you rate short story collections? Do you rate each story
As a whole,
individually or as a
no, I
whole?
think
Or
I just as a whole, like if I
mm,
enjoyed it in general, but I do consider if there are some missing links or like some least favorites, but
yeah,
overall I rate it as a whole. Like okay, I've enjoyed majority of the stories. There are some um weak stories, but it's not gonna pull
yeah.
the rating so low. Yeah, that's a good question actually, because I don't rate them individually. Like, and then get the average, maybe? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
because that's
saying?
what I've seen other people do with short story collections or like anthologies and
I just don't have the time to do that. I guess. Okay. Bea says I need horror books. So Junji Ito is the one that I'm reading. I'm halfway done with Sin and I by Travis Hupp. Hupp? I started this a while ago after Funny Story by Emily Henry. Yeah, I saw that you finished that today. It's a poetry collection, and so far I am not loving it. Oh no. So are you
oh
gonna DNF it?
no.
Are you gonna move on to a different book? Hi there, cool gamer.
Hi.
Hi again, Eliza. How was your first reading sprint? I am hating the poetry collection I'm reading. Girl, just move on
It
to a
it
different book.
evolved from not loving it to hating it, within one comment.
Now that artwork is morbid. Yes, it's so graphic, it's so detailed. I love it. Incredibly detailed. I love your blanket, your phone and blanket.
It's a let me show you. It's a darker shade of magic
Ooh.
inspired blanket.
Merch?
Yeah, I think I got it from a
Book
what
box?
do you call them? Yeah, Fairy Loot Box. This one.
It's
Oh my
cute.
gosh, it has a hole. Why is there a hole? I feel like I know why there's a hole. I feel like I know why there's a hole. I think one
The
of my
dog.
dogs. Yeah,
It's
because one of my
always the dog.
dogs, she has this nibbling. He's not like really biting it, but he
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
likes to nibble a little bit. And I've been seeing her like nibbling at this a couple of times. I'm like looking at her right now, trying to like suss out if she did this or not.
But maybe it was done a long time ago, and she's
Yeah,
like,
because I always just have this on this chair, and this is her reading spot. Because prior to me putting this chair here, I have the balcony doors here. So when it's morning, the sun goes through this one, and she likes
hmm,
to sunbathe. So she's always in this spot on the floor before. But
hmm,
then because I put this chair, she can't like lie down on the floor anymore. So she always lies down on the chair itself. And
hmm.
that's when she nibbles. She's like, he stole my spot,
This is on the
my
chair.
sunbathing spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi there. No, you came at the right time. We just finished our first
No, yeah.
sprint. So
We have
we
three
are
more to
going to
go.
be having, yes, three more. So you're in here at the right time. And what will you be reading? Or will you be doing something? Some tasks, some chores? Do let us know. Hold on. It was chaotic. I took some food too, but didn't read that much. Oh, that's okay. We still have three more sprints.
Yeah.
Hold on. I
Live
don't think it's that
selling.
easy. I will finish this poetry collection, then I'll move on. Well, it's pretty short too, if it's a poetry collection. Or when you're at this poetry collection I'm reading is like a guy complaining about everything. Oof.
When it's like a girl complaining about everything, it's sometimes annoying, but then, okay, it's fine. Women rage. It's fine. But then when it's a guy complaining about everything, it's like unbearable. Especially on like books and stuff.
I guess it depends as well. Oh, oof. Wait, sorry. I guess it depends on like the age of the guy. Are you like an adult? Are you a teenager? I think I can make some excuses if it's like a teenager.
A
Like,
teenager.
their frontal lobe isn't
Fully
developed.
developed.
So I guess it depends. Like if it's a middle-aged man, I will judge so hard. Ugh, a yapper. So you're gonna finish it and move on to the next book? Because I feel like you'd be able to finish the poetry
Poetry
collection
collection so
the second
fast. Yeah.
sprint. Yeah. Oh, I was just checking on my dog. But like I think the thing with our dogs is they don't nibble on well, they do nibble on our blankets or
Mm.
our pillows, but not to the level of like putting a hole on it. Because like they have their stuffed toys that they
Yeah. I
can
mean, this girl,
destroy.
like, I just took a photo of her. Then I'll share it too. She's like staring at me, and I see her with a piece of fabric. She's like in action right now. Let me just show the photo. She's like, she looks so
Oh
guilty.
no.
Look at that, like that piece of fabric. She was just nibbling at it, like caught in
So
the
cute
act.
though.
And she's just staring at me. She's not moving. She's just looking at me.
Like,
Even right now,
why
she's
are you
looking at
looking
me
at
right now.
me? They know when they're guilty though, so
Yeah. And now she's
yes,
trying to
I'll
act
finish
very nonchalant.
this. So you're the OA one. She's the
Oh,
nonchalant.
she's
After this, I will pick on another one based on my mood.
it's like
No,
I wasn't doing
no.
anything. This I did not take this from the laundry hamper and start nibbling on it.
It's not my fault. Like it's the human's fault. Ooh, you're in the mood for paranormal, and you keep eyeing Lucy and Dying, a
Oh,
Dracula
that's
novel. Lucy and
I've been
Dying.
seeing that.
Lucy.
It's a local. No, it's the one with the red dress in the cover.
Ah, this
It's
one.
a pretty. I think it's a
Here's
new
the
one, like a new release.
seductive gothic fantasy.
I have that in
It's
my
it's
Libby
LGBT.
holds. I think it's.
Oh,
Do I have that in my hold? I'm pretty sure I added that in my hold.
it's pretty long though.
Yeah, it is. I
Pretty
remember that as
long.
well when I looked at it.
Yeah, I guess we're protege. I think dogs are just generally cuter than us, no matter what breed. Are you still looking
She's
at your dog?
yeah, because she's like doing like that, but then she has her eyes on me like that. Like, is she still looking at me? Can I start nibbling on this cloth again?
Once you're busy again. But then the
Yeah.
angle that you're reading, you'd be
I'm
like,
literally in
yeah,
front of her.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm watching you.
So no chance. I got an arc of Lucy and Dying. I don't like I haven't read it though, so I
Oh,
don't.
I have
This book has
Dracula
twelve
by Bram Stoker. I've been wanting to read
and it's pretty long. I just checked it out on Goodreads. It has 467 pages. Like for gothic horror, why is it that long?
Maybe the chapters are like very, very short. Like it has a chapter with just one line in it, things like that. Yeah, I placed the hold, but it's so
Okay,
long.
so
It's still
since I'm setting up
17.
the next set of sprints, so I am for those who just joined. I am reading Junji Ito's Frankenstein, which is a short story collection by the horror mangaka. And Pam is
I'm reading
reading.
The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. It's nonfiction about an art thief in apparently very recent times in 1995 and 2001, and just chronicles his life of art thievery, I guess, and his philosophy about it and
Art
how he got caught, essentially.
liberation.
Yes, art liberation.
So should we do our second sprint? Bea, you should
Yes.
talk to her after you've read it, probably, since you have the arc. Okay. So for our second sprint, let's go.
Yes.
Happy reading, everyone.
See you in 5 minutes.
Hello.
Hello.
That was fast.
Yes, it
Or
was. I
too
didn't
abrupt.
read too much. How was your reading? How's the graphic novel?
I got to 30% of the book, and it's still Frankenstein. So
Oh, that's a
it's
long
it's
story.
a long story. It's a long story. I think that's why it's the title story of
Yeah.
the collection as well. But yeah, it's I think I just don't have enough basis of the original work.
Mm,
So I don't know which how far the retelling was by Junji Ito, but
mm,
the basics are here. Like Frankenstein's monster is created and he's out there, he has escaped, wreaking havoc, etc.
yeah.
etc. But to the point that Frankenstein is asking, the monster is asking Frankenstein to make another monster,
Monster.
but make it a woman and the one. So I'm like, huh, is this part of
The
the
original
original story?
source
But I'm
material.
like, I don't think so. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I actually do not know how the story of Frankenstein ends. Like, is he gonna be destroyed? Is he gonna get killed,
Mm,
etc. So I'm going into this quote unquote blindly. So,
yeah.
but how about you? How is the Arth Liberator?
I made it to page 46. I'm reading a lot slower because I keep having to, or I keep wanting to Google like what the artworks or the artifacts he was stealing.
Mm,
I was trying to look up the museum, so I'm like doing so many things while reading, so I'm going really slow. So far we've just been going through the first, I guess, instance of his art collecting tendencies. So the first theft, and then how it progressed from that, and the first time that he met his girlfriend, who like his girlfriend is not like the type to she doesn't really care too much about like the stealing aspect of it, but she loves the feeling of the grandeur of having art. Like
uh,
they sleep around.
exhilarating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they sleep in their room with like all of their stolen artworks and stolen artifacts displayed as if it's their own home. So they just really wanted to like surround themselves with art. And they're like within this text, while they're recalling the story of the different thefts, it's also like interspersed with what the public thinks, what the court thought, what the psychiatrists that are in the court proceedings said about their, I guess, the results of their examinations of them. And a lot of the court was insisting that he's just delusional, he's not this, because he's trying to set himself apart, right, as like a very elevated collector, thief,
Mm,
whatever. But then the court is saying, no, you're just kleptomaniac, blah blah blah. But then actually, the psychiatrist um who studied him actually said that he actually doesn't fit the I guess the symptoms of kleptomania, because usually kleptomania, they don't really care about what they're stealing. It's just the
mm,
act of
yeah,
stealing,
yeah, yeah.
and then usually there's like feeling of shame and regret, like for a certain time right after. But he is the opposite. Like he's very particular about who wants to steal. It's not even like the most renowned or the most expensive thing in the museum. It's what like makes his heart go like it what makes his heart flutter, and he steals that. So he's like very specific about what he wants to steal, and he's very proud of it. Like he's displaying it in his home. Like literally, if you go into his home, you just see everything. And he lives with his mother. His mother, like he
So his
lives in the
mother
first
knows?
floor. No, no, no. His mother lives in the first floor. He lives in the like upstairs, kind of like attic with with his girlfriend. And his mother is just like they're very like distant from each other. So they don't really like interact much aside from like meals. And then when he brings home like a crossbow or a painting, he just says that they're like replicas or flea market finds. And his mother is like, okay, like so like very nonchalant.
And that's why he got away with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like no one's questioning
Yeah, and it's
that
so funny
hard.
because you would think that with someone who was able to get away with like 200 plus thefts, that he would be some like sort of this genius, very meticulous, like he plans everything, but he actually doesn't do any kind of planning at all. Like he literally just goes to a museum, pays for a ticket, goes on the like tours the place because, and then when he finds something that like really hits him hard, he just steals it. He doesn't do any research. So maybe the portrait of a thief narrative is actually accurate.
Possible.
Well, this was 1995, and he goes to a lot of like small museums, regional museums, because he doesn't really care about the price value. It's more of like it's artwork. Does it make me feel something? Okay, I'm gonna
Mhm.
steal it. And then his only tool is like a Swiss Army knife. So I'm like, and he managed to do that for 230 plus artifacts. I'm like,
I mean,
maybe that's the key. Be very like chill about it.
like, are you taking notes? Taking notes about how
But
to pull off an art theft? Wait. Okay. Heartless. Eliza
oh,
says, Heartless has my heart. It's
wait,
so,
which
so good.
is this like the
And
third, fourth book in the
is it a, it's a
LCC?
series?
It's part of the Flawless Chestnut Spring series. It is what I remember. Let me just check. So Flawless is the first book, and then Heartless is if it loads. Fourth
Ah,
or fifth? Oh, second. Okay.
so do you have to read? You obviously need to read the first one. It's not as if like it's
Uh,
solo stories within a series.
yeah, actually, I don't know. Let's see. I love the old. I guess is it indie published before the indie published covers of of the Chestnut Spring series, and then because they're not traditionally published, obviously you can't buy that anymore from like Amazon, and
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
selling the indie published covers for like $1,000 or something like that, something crazy like that. Like oh my gosh,
What?
for like the set, they're like oh my gosh,
That's
so
so
expensive.
much.
It is. I'm like just gonna wait for someone to unhaul it in like
If they
a
do
Logan
unhaul
video.
it.
Like someone who doesn't really like not into book content and they don't know that that's worth that much.
Is this your art theft era?
The
But
book thief.
bookish edition?
I have not read the book thief, but I want to.
It's good. It's good. Like I remember loving
Like I
it.
have it here. The book thief.
I also have it because like I was in the mood to like reread books that I loved and
Mm,
wish to reread them. But this was like years ago that I was planning it. But I'm like, I don't know why a part of my brain doesn't like the fact that I'm going to reread it because like I'm like
mm,
I already read this and I
like
already love this box. So I don't know. There's like this tiny part of my brain
like
that
we
thinks,
feel like it's you could be reading new books instead.
yeah, I'm like I could be reading new books, but I don't know. It's a mess up here. But Bea says, ang pangit ng Sin and I. So, but have you
So
finished
did
it?
you finish
Because
it?
you said, yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
said you were gonna finish it on the second sprint. It's the second book, and it is
Oh,
connected. But you don't have to read it in order, but it makes more sense if you read them in. Ah.
yeah. So
Oh.
it's kind of like a companion. series, I guess, where the characters will be in the other books. I really want, like, I haven't read any. I think we talked about this in like a couple of sprints ago, like cowboy romance, but I haven't
Mm,
really read anything. I feel like I'm still staying away from romance for the most part. Like I try my best to read different books just because I was really burnt out when I read the Never After series.
mm.
I'm like, I do read still romance every now and then just because they come into my library. Like I put a hold on it for a long time ago, so I still read it, but I'm not actively like, okay, I need to read this, and this.
Just not in maybe not a series anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just romanced out. Maybe later in the year.
Romance burnt out.
Yeah.
I gave it 1 star and I have no regrets. Oh my gosh. So, are you going to be reading a different one? I think you mentioned you're going to be reading the Kirsten White
Yeah, the
arc
arc.
that you're planning to
The
read.
112-page book,
Yeah,
chapter book.
like chapter book, like 467 pages. So, oh wait, how far are you in Art Thief? Like, how
I'm
many percent?
only I'm only 19%. But it's a short book actually. It's only 230 pages.
Mm,
So I feel like I probably it's very interesting, the writing style, very easy to read. I think even after this course I'll probably just read it until I finish.
okay, okay.
Do you think you'll
So,
finish
wait,
Frankenstein? Like the entire book,
actually,
the entire
how
novel?
many percent am I in? Because like if Frankenstein took me so far 2 sprints
Yeah, I feel
and
like
it's
everything else is gonna be
30%,
super short.
it's already 30% through. And like there are 10 more stories. So I guess similar to other short story collection of his, it's gonna be just like 8 pages maximum for
Mm,
the other stories,
yeah.
or 10, because like so far 30% through and I'm still not done. But we're gonna do 2 more sprints. I think
Yeah.
I will be able to finish the Frankenstein story, but I don't think I'd be able to finish the whole graphic novel
Mm,
because I think
within
it's
the
quite
sprints at least. Yeah.
long. Yeah. It's not like Bloom that I read last week where it's just
Mm.
very easy to read. It's very
And
easy
this one you
to.
kind of have to like really appreciate the drawing, the illustrations, because it's very
Yeah.
detailed. It has certain style to it.
And like I guess I think that the language itself that I mentioned
Mm,
earlier,
yeah.
I'm like, I have to reread it because I'm like, wait, am I understanding that correctly? Because like I'm trying to, okay, I'm gonna try to look for an example. Like
Old English.
okay, this is Frankenstein's monster speaking that I swear to you and by you that made me, that with the companion you bestow my evil passions will have fled. My life will flow away, and in my dying moments I shall never curse my maker. If I have no affections, hatred must be my portion. The love of another will destroy the cause of my crimes. Like, so I have to reread stuff. Like, it's not all that, but I think
Yeah. It's very like poetic the way that they are.
yeah. But I think it's more of like, okay, I think I picked the wrong example because like in this story Frankenstein's monster learned the language from
Mm,
the
from books
people
and stuff.
that
Ah,
he
okay.
was, he was snooping around
Yeah.
with. So, but if it's a normal person that's speaking, like, okay, something like okay, imagine if like if it's a different book, but there's a way to make this particular line shorter. So the
Mm.
dad was like, "Sorry to bother you. I know you're tired, but I have something to discuss with you. Could you come to my room? I'm not sure if now is the time for something like this, but with this string of misfortune, I wish to prevent any further calamity." That's a normal. That's a normal.
Yeah, that's how they actually talk.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, I have to reread some passages again and again because I'm like, the way that it's written. But it's not a turn off. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's just very
like,
different. Yeah.
"Ah, I have to reread it again." I'm staying away from some hype books and romance. I usually root for backlist titles. I will root for Lucy and Dying.
Mhm.
So you're gonna read that? Is that what you're saying? It screams for normal fantasy. I will return to Done and Dusted. I will return to Done and Dusted when I am in the mood for it. Also writing Retreat. The one by
You read that,
Julia.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Julia Barker? Baker? Whatever.
It's the one with the neon green
Yeah, 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 yeah.
title.
The one about a writing retreat in a secluded in a
I
secluded
remember I
island.
read that in a sprint.
Yeah, I did, I did. I liked it though. I liked it. Yeah,
I
it's
still have not read it.
one of the good ones. Just not mind blowing, but
Hmm.
it's good. It's quite fun.
Writing
So
retreat.
middle of the night. Of course, it's a Riley Sager, so I wouldn't
I'm
have
never
time
reading another
for
Riley
these
Sager.
ones. I think
Like
if we're gonna read
Riley,
Riley Sager, it's just gonna be lock every door.
I
That's
read
it.
that. I read that
That's
already.
the best one for me already. That's the best.
I feel like if I were like, I'm only gonna read another Riley Sager if someone that I trust, like someone that I know that their taste is similar to mine, highly, highly recommends it. Otherwise, I'm not interested. I don't know.
Well, yeah, don't. I buddy read Survive the Night with Bea and we both hated it so much. Like, oh my gosh. I wish I gave this 1 star. I think I was still being generous by giving this 2 or 3 stars. Like, it was so bad. My God. So, should we do the third sprint? We're in the third one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the third
All
one.
right. So all of us
The
can
characters are dumb. They survive the
more
night.
reading. Yeah, they truly are. They truly are. Nothing makes sense there. Nothing makes sense. Oh my God. Okay, sprint number 3, everyone. Happy reading.
Happy reading. Why was that so fast?
Right? For
Like
some
I
reason. I guess I'm just also too engrossed.
yeah, probably. How is it? Did you finish Frankenstein or is it
Yeah.
still going?
No, I finished it. And actually, I just started the next one. So it took 3 sprints to finish the Frankenstein story. So I'm now 49% through. So just halfway
Halfway. Yeah.
through the story collection. But I immediately like Googled while I was still
Frankenstein.
reading Frankenstein as in the story, and apparently I think it's sticking to the real
Mm,
story because like there was actually the Bride of Frankenstein,
yeah.
but it was supposedly for the monster, and it's just I guess Junji Ito's way of retelling the
Yeah.
story.
With
It
the
was very
illustrations and
interesting.
stuff.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Like horrific too. Like, ah, the images.
So how would you rate the Frankenstein story? Since that's like the titular short story for this collection.
I think, I think it's a
Yeah.
4-star story. I think mostly because there isn't anything unique to the story that you're adding, except just Junji Ito. Junji Ito
Illustrated.
fight the story. So,
Yeah.
but it's still very interesting. Like it's actually making me interested with like reading
Frankenstein.
the
I have been
original
wanting to
material.
read that as well. I have it up there. It's somewhere in that stack of Frankenstein.
How was the art thief though?
I'm at 30%, page 68, and it's very interesting. Like, he is now, like, it's talking about, I guess, his philosophy. Like, obviously, I mentioned earlier, he cites himself as like a art liberator, but then his viewpoint about art in general is that all art is essentially a story of stealing. A lot of art has been looted by different countries, and then
Mm,
um some of them taken as war prizes or war souvenirs. Like, so much of art history is like a history of stuff being stolen.
yeah.
So he's like, I'm just participating in the same history.
Wow.
And like, if like he's saying, like, if I'm not sure, was it Britain? Like, if Britain can
Yeah. Yeah.
display stolen artwork in a museum, why
British
can't I
Museum. Yeah.
display the same thing in my own home? Or something like that.
I
Like, you're
mean,
not
he has a point.
wrong.
Honestly, he has
He
a
has
point.
a point. So
Just
it's kind of this, like,
very, yeah. Like the execution is
yeah,
not.
there's just so
It's,
interesting back and forth about his motives, like his reasoning for everything. And then he's saying that I'm trying to find my how do you open your highlights on the Kindle app.
it's the notebook thingy
Ah,
at the
yeah, yeah, okay.
upper right.
So he's just saying that how, or the commentary of the author of this book is like, I mean, he essentially says that he's not wrong, that, a lot of art has
Yeah,
been
yeah,
still stolen over time, and it's kind of forgotten now that these artworks are stolen. But
yeah.
then the author says that but the difference is he rewards himself and deprives everyone else. But at the same
Mm,
time, you think about museums. Obviously, it's a public museum. Everyone
yeah,
can
yeah,
view
yeah.
but then museums still get funding, get money based on the artworks that they're able to collect and the artworks that they have. So it's at the same time, the museum is still like rewarding themselves.
Benefiting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's a very interesting topic to discuss. And obviously there's this layer of this is a very like kind of first world problem type of conversation. So obviously art is a like it's a very in a way it's a very elitist type of
Thinking, yeah.
discussion and thinking something. And it's also interesting because this man, the art thief, he's essentially he doesn't work. He's essentially living off of government like unemployment
Unemployment. Yeah,
benefits,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, employment support, or like money that his mother is giving him because he lives with his
Okay.
mother. Grandparents sometimes give him money, and then his girlfriend actually is working, so she's the breadwinner. But then the attic that they lived in is housing artwork worth like almost $2 billion, and that's why
And
he's
he's
saying
yeah,
that.
he's not stealing it for the money,
Yeah, he's like
really.
it's proof that it's not really about the money. But at the same time, if you think about it, it's like it's so hard
Even
to
if you just
profit
sell one.
from it's so hard to profit from stolen art. Like in this book it was mentioned when Mona Lisa the painting was stolen by one of the workers. He obviously Mona Lisa is a very well known painting.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
he waited for like 3 years, 4 years, and then he attempted to sell it to this shady vibes art dealer. But then the art dealer notified
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the authorities and he got arrested immediately. Like you can't
That's
really
so stupid.
profit. It is like, but then if you steal a Mona Lisa, there's really no weight unless you go like deep into the black market, maybe sell it
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. There's no
another
anonymity.
criminal
Like,
who just wants to display it in their home. Like that's a way to go about it. But he's a worker. He's just a regular person. He's not
uh,
like part of this crime
yeah,
ring.
yeah,
And
yeah.
this book also like I guess lists out some of the art heists that happened in history and how it's so weird because he is like obviously he's very like I mentioned earlier, he's just doing this on a whim, is it essentially like very spontaneous. And then he's also very successful. But then all of the other art highs are like they they work at the museum for 1 year to study the blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah, yeah. The
blah, or
layout. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, or they hired like it's an actual crime gang and they hired like 20 people Ocean's 11 style to like really get the paintings. And all of those were not successful in the sense that a bunch of them
Mm.
were caught pretty much immediately. But this guy,
Just
he's
a
just
solo
chilling
guy. Yeah, yeah.
with his Swiss Army knife. And he just says that also that the way that he's a very unrecognizable person because he's just very
Mm.
normal looking, and he also like dresses a little affluently so that people don't
Ah,
think like his girlfriend is dressed up in like Dior, Chanel, but then all of those are like finds from vintage like thrift shops and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
So they really invest in those things so that they people would just not think of them as a thief. And then when the police are asking like the crowd, the other visitors in the museum, like they can't really pinpoint them because they don't stand out because
Yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah.
in Europe, so everyone, the people who go to museums are always dressed um a little bit
Fancier.
affluently.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just so
And it's
interesting that
very simple. It's a very simple strategy too. Like,
it is. Yeah.
I
But
wonder if
I guess
like
that
there would come a time in the book that the thief had a close call or something, but still didn't get caught.
there was this. I mean, I'm spoiling the book, but this is all obviously on Wikipedia and stuff. But there's this one. It was his birthday, and he wants to steal this specific small oil
Mm.
painting. It's like a size of like a small book. So he wants to steal that. It's in Sotheby's viewing room. So Sotheby is like an auction, they're an auction house essentially. They're one of the biggest auction houses in the world. So they're displaying it in the viewing room so that people who are interested can like check out pieces, like plan ahead what they like window shop what they want to bid on the actual auction date. So the actual piece is small. It goes in a glass dome. Like he lifts it up, takes the painting, the easel where the painting was sitting on falls, makes a noise, but because the guard was like in conversation with one of the visitors, I guess they just didn't notice, or maybe it just sounded loud to him. but it wasn't really that loud. And then they just skedaddled out of there like in 10 minutes, and then went away. I'm like,
So I think he was just at the same time he was also lucky.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
feel like a lot of things just aligned for him.
yeah.
This is so weird. So I guess the moral of the story is maybe Portrait of a Thief wasn't as
Too far
ridiculous
fetched.
as
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
as I
But
thought it
I don't
was.
think
But I
I
still
don't
hate
think
it.
this guy I don't think this guy does Google Docs or something like
No,
that. I think he
no, because he
has
just goes into the museum and then he just
yeah.
steals it. He doesn't do any
No
planning at
planning.
all. Just vibes. And then it's like, okay. Hmm.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me just check. I'm hooked. Lucy
Oh,
apparently it has two timelines and you're 4% in and it's a queer paranormal
oh,
romance.
interesting.
That's why I saw the tag. It has LGBTQ tag on Goodreads.
Mm, interesting.
It's still so
I'm al-
long for me though.
I'm still like 10 weeks in my home,
Hi
so it's gonna be a while.
JK, welcome back
Hey,
to the
JK.
sprints. Hi everyone, what are you reading slash working on today? So I am currently reading Junji Ito's Frankenstein. It's a short story collection. It's a horror one. And Pam is
So I'm reading The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. So it's a non-fiction book about an art thief who essentially successfully stole like 200 plus pieces of artworks in between like 1995 and 2001.
are
They
they all
steal
paintings though?
artworks. Well, no, sorry.
Are they all paintings though? Or are there
No, no, no.
sculptures or like other artifacts?
It's anything that he fancies. So he stole a crossbow, like a full size crossbow from a museum, small sculptures, paintings, stuff like that. And I'm like, great.
How? It's giving Johnny English.
And like they're so prolific that they would steal every week. And they would only do it on the weekends because his girlfriend has an actual day job. So they would do it on the weekends. They would steal 3 out of the 4 weeks in a month. Sometimes they would steal from multiple museums on the same day. And I guess because it's Europe, they will just drive to like a museum like 2 hours away from the one that they just stole from. So it's not super obvious. But I'm like, I feel like at some point they should have been caught.
Yeah, like how I don't know, how
How?
lenient is the security?
Yeah, but I guess it was mentioned here that because he's not really trying to go for the expensive stuff, the well-known stuff. Like he goes to a lot of regional small museums, and a lot of those museums don't really have the biggest funding, so they would prioritize spending on acquiring more art rather than actual security. Like sometimes even in some museums that he visited, the only employee is like a uh part-timer high school student like manning the reception, just because there's this, I guess at the time everyone was just like counting on the public trust because there's this like a public sort of, I guess, perk, and everyone was just like the people who view art wouldn't really be the people stealing art type of thing. Like the people who appreciate art wouldn't steal art, and I'm like, guess not.
Okay, I guess. Bea says it's a female romance. And I hope this is gonna be good. I
Well,
hope
let
so
us know.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi JK. I'm reading Heartless by Elsie Silver. Gonna get the physical copy tomorrow.
Wow.
So it's that good that you're gonna purchase the physical copy. Oh. I'm working on reading lots of short books for Face Off today. So is this a read-a-thon or a read
I think,
along
yeah, I think I
on
saw a thumbnail with Face Off just today. Let's see. Face Off. Readathon.
what's the theme of I wonder?
Ah, it's for Amazing Readathon. Okay, got it. So Amazing Readathon is an Amazing Race inspired readathon. I think Vanessa is doing that readathon,
It's that one. That
and
one.
they
Yeah, yeah.
have
Okay, okay.
a face off weekend this weekend.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I mean,
Sweeping friends.
we are down to our last sprint anyway, so
Yeah, might as well.
okay. So with that, are we ready to read more?
Yes.
Our last sprint. I don't think I'd be able to finish the Junji
Well, me
Ito
too.
short
I'm only
story,
30% in.
but I feel like you will read more
Yeah, I'll
later,
probably
and
read.
you'd be able to finish it tomorrow since tomorrow is a
Yeah.
holiday, please.
Yes.
Okay. Sprint number 4. Happy reading,
Advance
everyone.
good night, Bea.
Sweet dreams. But I
See
hope
you
you
then.
still get to read though. But
Yeah.
okay. We'll see you again in 25 minutes, hopefully. Happy reading.
Hello, hello.
Hi again.
How
That
is it?
was quick again.
Yeah,
It was
I
too
guess
quick.
that's good because we're both engaged in the book
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
reading.
So I got to 64%. I got to like the third story. And yeah, it's still weird as fuck. So I think I'm gonna continue later before sleeping.
Mm.
Bad choice, but either that or Stardew Valley. So
I feel like Stardew Valley is gonna win.
let's see, let's see. How
Is
about
there
you?
like
Mm,
I was just gonna ask, is there like a connection to the short stories or like a theme or is
yes,
just
actually, I forgot
ah
to mention, but I think it's only with this short story collection that I'm reading. I
mm,
noticed that when I was in the third story, I was like, huh, is it just a coincidence that it's the same name of the
mm,
character and how he looks like? But apparently, I read the blurb again on Goodreads, and apparently, it's just one character, except for Frankenstein, because that's obviously a different character.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so apparently, it's just one kid and in multiple, like, horror
Different short story,
parallel
yeah.
whatever. But
Universe.
yeah, it's like
Junji Ito cinematic universe.
I I've read some of his short story collection before, but it's not connected. I guess this
Mm,
short
okay.
that I'm reading is connected. So yeah, everything is weird. I'm like, if I were this character, I would have gone crazy already because like all these weird things happening to him, and it's like he's not well. At least on the third story, he hasn't grown up. So it's like he's on
Mm,
the same grade in high
yeah.
school. So I'm like, huh, how are you not insane yet? How is the art
Mm.
thief though?
I'm currently at page 90, 40% of the book, and got the first inkling that they have, like the police are onto them. So it kind of went into a little bit of detail about the different art theft crime units, especially in Europe, because there's a lot of art there.
Mm.
And apparently, they had like a misstep in one of their art heists, and that kind of ignited this whole case against them. They haven't been recognized yet, but two countries within Europe have started a separate investigations into their theft. So I'm guessing we're now gonna start I guess, the narration on like how they got caught. So
Ooh, but
it's
it's just
actually
40% through
I
though.
know. Yeah, yeah. So I feel like it's gonna go into how he got caught and then the court proceedings because he's a very interesting character. Like obviously he's a very different way of thinking. So I think a lot and he was also very open to interview everything. Like he was
Yeah.
proud of what he did. So there's a lot of like interviews, court proceedings and everything. I think it's gonna cover that and probably life after because he was only in prison for like 26 months.
Months or years?
26 months. So 2 years and a couple of months. 2 years and 2 months. So I don't know how that happened, and I don't
Damn.
know. So I guess that's also gonna be a part of this, like the conclusion to everything.
I guess because it's art that's originally stolen
Like,
and those
hmm.
who stole first weren't imprisoned. So I guess you can make a case
Yeah,
about
so I don't
that.
know.
I'm
Like,
like, why
I'm
are you
curious to
just
see like
imprisoning me?
I'm,
Why
I'm
not the
curious to
people
see
before me?
why 26 months. Like, what's the reasoning
Yeah.
behind it? Because I'm like, I feel like even the value of the art that he stole, like in total, almost 2 billion. I feel like that alone, even if he
Yeah.
didn't sell it, like everything was obviously returned because he didn't like sell or destroy anything. I feel like that value alone would like make him, I don't know, make it reasonable for him to be locked up for like
Yeah.
at least 5 years or something like that. Like, 26 months. He has a pretty good lawyer, perhaps. You'll
I
see.
guess yeah, yeah. I guess this is defense attorney is like it's not like he
Yeah.
murdered on.
Yeah, like also that's also one thing, I guess, that's like being discussed here, how his crimes are all victimless. He doesn't steal from private collections inside
Mm,
homes. There's no violence. He doesn't, like secure a room, held hostages to like get the artwork. He just swipes
mm.
them. So everything
He's
is
just
like victimless.
um a selfish Robin Hood, basically.
Yeah,
He's not
essentially.
doing it. He's not really doing it for everyone, but he
Yeah.
likes to say that he is.
Yeah. And the illustration in the beginning of the book is apparently the attic where everything he stole is stored. It's
Ooh.
actually quite interesting. So let me try and so his attic has two parts, like the outside part and a bedroom part. Like he literally displayed everything. Like he
That's a
has
huge
violins, yeah, and
attic.
then he has this is the actual bedroom part, even more artwork, even more like there's a trumpet, there's a sword, there's a crossbow, and like he really went for
It's a
everything.
whole museum, basically.
Yeah, like it's like I would actually it's like it would have been fun to have his attic as an actual museum
Mm.
and
Like a
then have like yeah, but
curated
then
space.
obviously that wouldn't be right because we're essentially like condoning stolen
Yeah.
art, even though a lot of museums are stolen and looted art. So
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Eliza, Heartless is getting good at its criminal. So are you gonna keep reading, Eliza, until you get your physical copy tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Or are you gonna wait it out and like read when you have the physical
I feel like
copy?
Eliza would continue reading.
Are you that type? Like when you're liking it and you've decided to get the physical copy,
I'm gonna
you're
finish
gonna wait
it.
it out or
No, I just finish it. Like I feel like I might lose that
the
feeling.
momentum
Yeah, the momentum, and then I might end up not ever finishing it. So I just read it, and then I just get a physical copy later on.
and then reread it or
Sometimes I do. I have reread a couple of books that I've gotten. Like I've read digitally first, and then a physical copy.
Hmm,
I think I've reread like 3 books like that.
I can't stop now. Glad that you're loving it though. There's
Yeah,
already like thunder going on, so
is that
my dog is
why
going
the dog?
crazy. It's
My
not
dog
raining though.
is staring at me. I'm gonna show you. Like she's staring at me. He's like, when are you gonna feed me?
Yeah.
He's like, this is my view. So he's literally staring at me. He's like,
Oh my
when are,
gosh.
when are you gonna feed me?
Soon, soon, babe.
Like he just sneakily went into that section where I can actually see him straight. It's like
What if you just pretend to like not see him? Like,
he would
what
probably
if
like
you
jump
like
up
this?
here.
I know I'm have a good time. That's one of the best feelings though when you're reading a
Yeah.
book. Like when you just know in your
Then
bones
it's
that
like
you're gonna love it. Yeah.
yeah. I just wish a lot of books felt like that. I just wish we didn't have to like go through books we don't like to get to
Hmm.
them.
Oh my god. That's me with like I was like you know the thing I was experiencing with the sympathizer and butter.
Mm. Oh
And I
yeah,
was
back
like,
to back
what is
books that are
going
like
on? Like, why am I not picking up books that I am enjoying? And it's not as if like I stopped at like 5% or 10. I
yeah.
really got a decent chunk from both
They
of
can
these books.
really
30, yeah.
tried. Yeah.
And it's like I was like, I'm kind of gaslighting myself. Like, is it me? I'm the problem? Because like these books
They're not
on the surface,
understandable. Is that why?
they're not bad. They're not objectively bad, but I just can't go through them. So I'm like,
I'm
okay,
just not in the
besides to
mood.
like a thriller and graphic novels, I feel like I need to like start enjoying what I'm reading again
Yeah,
before I get to like the difficult books before I go back
yeah,
to those.
yeah. Just saturate yourself with books that you know you'll love,
Yeah,
and
just
then
really
try
short
again.
ones.
Yeah.
So on that note, we can wrap up our sprint so you can feed
Yes. Yes,
your
my dog that's
books.
staring at me.
Yeah. So yeah, Pam will be hosting the next set of sprints next week. It's
Yeah.
most likely
So
gonna
I
be the
think,
same,
yeah, on that it's probably not gonna be on
the same
Sunday
day.
because I have like something I need to do. So I
Yeah, yeah,
will
yeah.
chat with you when
Yes.
the express is gonna be, but we'll let you know on Instagram as per usual. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see like a story when we finalize the date, and also here on YouTube. So
Yes. So
subscribe.
make sure you're subscribed to Pam's channel. It's linked in my description box. So shut up, I'm just stopping my dog from barking, but
No, he's
not
just saying subscribe, like,
yeah.
smash the like button, turn on the
So
notification.
definitely gonna be next week, but
Yeah.
we'll announce whenever that would be. And thank
Yes.
you everyone for joining our
Thank
sprint
you.
tonight, and
It's
we hope
actually
to see
really
you
fun.
on the
Like,
next one. Yes.
yes,
I
because
think
we
we
both
both
like the
enjoyed
books.
what
Yeah,
we were reading.
that's why it's
So
extra fun to discuss.
and I hope that will be the same for this whole week and our next sprint. So
Yes.
we'll see you again next week, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Wait, I was supposed to end the stream and I